feel so close to you right now. It's a force field. I wear my heart up on my sleeve like a big deal. Your love pours down on me, surround me like a waterfall. And there's no stopping us right now. I feel so close to you right now. Stopping us right now. I feel so close to you right now. There's no stopping us right now. And there's no stopping us right now. And there's no stopping us right now. I feel so close to you right now.
To the heart, I never kissed a mouth that tastes like yours. Strawberries and something more. Ooh yeah, I want it all. Lipstick on my guitar. Fill up the engine, we can drive real far. Go dancing underneath the stars. Ooh yeah, I want it all. Got me feeling like I wanna be that guy. I wanna kiss your eyes, I wanna drink that smile, I wanna feel like my soul's on fire. I wanna stay up all day and all night. Yeah, you got me singing like, ooh, I love it when you do it like that. And when you're close up, give me the shivers. Oh baby, you wanna dance till the sunlight cracks. And when they say the party's over, then we'll bring it right back. And we'll say, ooh, I love it when you do it like that. And when you're close up, give me the shivers. Oh baby, you wanna dance till the sunlight cracks. And when they say the party's over, then we'll bring it right back. Into the car, on the backseat in the moonlit dark. Wrap me up between your legs and arms. Ooh, I can get enough. You With every twist and every turn, pulling every single thread. I may have 1,000 names, but in the end they're all the same. I play whatever role you need to guide your way. Welcome to the Matrix, where I am your god. It may be a simulation, but I ain't no fraud. I play your friend and your foe, design your joy and your woe. And if the red dress caught your eye, I'm doing something right. Welcome to my world. Let's see who comes out to play tonight.
Welcome back, everyone, to Wyrdgard. We are For the Win, your favorite weekly D&D Wednesday live actual play, whatever it's called. I don't know terms. I'm just a guy. I'm Nick, your dungeon master. It's been 7 whole days, counting them down, but here we are. Finally, we're back with 3 of my favorite people. We are down a Ruby, and instead joined by just 3 this time. Players, you're going to introduce yourselves as we normally do, but this time, I want you to imagine your character has woken up, and next to them, wherever they are, is a dead body. They have no memory of how that body got there. What is the first thing that your character does? Let's start with Death himself, Scott. The least death-like character.
Seriously. Hi, I'm Scott. I play Quinn. Quinn is a Teoran wizard. What does my character do with a dead body? I think he is completely perplexed. I think a lot of it his reaction would be what sort of body we're talking about. If it's another Teoran versus Nemasi versus is this just a sleeping statue? I don't know. But the first thing he does is probably try to check and see if there's any hope of waking this person up. So I think his inclination is not to run or to look guilty, but it's rather, oh shit, can I help?
What a responsible young man.
He's a tree. What are you gonna do?
He's a tree. That's should just be his excuse for anything. He's a tree.
Yeah, I'm a tree. What did you expect him to do? Leave?
With Quinn, you never know. Maybe rummage some pockets.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, we have Matilda.
Hi, I'm Matilda. I play Catriona, who is a statue. I think that an important question to her would be how long dead does this body seem? If it's like a freshly dead appearing corpse?
Yeah, let's go with fresh dead.
Okay, fresh dead. Probably like basic check pulse, see if they're like actually dead. And then if it's not anybody she knew or not related to like something that was important to her, she would just dig it a little grave and make it a little marker and go on about her life.
Now I'm interested in what if it's a very old dead?
Well, that would bring up a lot more questions probably, because why is there a really old dead body next to her? I mean, well, actually no, that would probably feel a bit more homey because she is from a graveyard. So I don't think that would really cause any sort of reaction.
Yeah, fair enough.
That would probably be normal.
A pretty typical thing. Now, someone who themselves was maybe not dead, but not alive that long ago. We've got, well, the character, not the person. Snash.
I mean, I'm pretty dead inside, so we're good. Yeah, Harlow's just checking for that oh so yummy goodness soul and see if it's there or not.
Taking a little nibble. Add it to the pot.
Yeah.
Someday we're going to have to address how many of Snatch's characters eat people in various ways.
Different
Yep.
parts
There's
each
a
time.
typecasting going on.
Yep.
All right, everybody. Well, last time we played, we had an eventful session. You all having defeated the Thornwraith of the Blighted Wood, decided to check in on both the tree and the mice that were tangled in its roots. Ultimately made your way into the hollow within and beneath the tree and found a basin filled with ashes and burning blue fire. You, upon touching it, conjured or brought forth 5 ghost-like specters, guardians from an ancient time, who spoke in riddles, cryptically, about who they were and the sacrifice they made for the land and for their people's livelihood. Ultimately, you had to decide: do you want to sacrifice Quinn, as they seem to want, or do you say no, thank you, we're going to leave, or do something else? And ultimately, it came down to a fight of sorts, more so a ticking clock, where the 5 were working on a ritual to do something. You don't know what, because it didn't quite go off, but in the process, all of you bombarded with cold magic, and ultimately, with both Harlow and Nosh going down, Nosh dealing the proverbial fatal blow to this basin, and in doing so, received the ire of its last gambit and flooded with necrotic energy and some sort of strange magic. Nosh was petrified, turned to petrified wood. You went your way back to Thorn Hollow and found the mice residence having placed Pippa on a basically funereal pyre, and were trying to cleanse her with the flame, and thought it was working because of what you all had done to break this curse. Harlow got herself a mask, received a vision of who the Mousefolk once called Rose, the Teoran woman who they had ultimately sacrificed. You decided to rest for the night after getting the Mousefolk to stop their burnings, and you encourage them to find a new place to live, as this one seemed no longer suitable. You are in this small cabin, Catriona outside, Quinn potted?
If there's a pot around, he's got his roots in the dirt. Yep.
Roots in the dirt, and in the bedroom, Nosh still petrified, and Harlow abed. You all can give yourselves the benefits of a long rest. I know Quinn was studying his book of spells. Anything that anybody else was doing prior to, during, or after their rest?
Attuning and also playing with my souls.
Playing with your souls? What does that look like?
As one does, sure.
There's other people around, Harlow.
Well, sucks to be them. Like an audience. I've played with the Rekindle Soul a bit, but I kind of want to go back to the OG Pyre Soul, and
Okay.
I don't know, try and learn more about it.
Okay. So, what does this involve? Is this meditation? Is it ritual? Is it something else I can't think of?
like visually, I would like to think because she can expel these souls when she wants to. It's kind of like taking it out and just like Play-Doh, like kinetic sand, right?
Okay.
The souls are canonically moon sand now.
Yeah, they're fidget spinners.
Okay. Love it. So go ahead and roll a charisma check. Or sorry, wisdom check, not charisma.
I was like, God damn, that sucks, Nick.
I keep forgetting you're a cleric. With a 15, as you're...
She's always a cleric.
I know, right? It's just... I just always assume that that's a lie. So as you're playing with this kinetic sand, this fidget spinner of a soul, weaving it between your fingers, the air around you, you feel a bit of a thrum kind of pulse through it. It's brief, just a flicker, and then it's gone. And you, as you continue to concentrate and fidget and mold it, you feel that flicker again, and it's a little bit stronger this time. It lasts a few seconds longer, and before it fades again. What do you do, Harlow?
Yo, I'm chasing that flicker.
You chase that flicker, and the more you chase, the longer that it lasts, and the more frequently it appears, until after a while you have this steady, not unpleasant, but maybe not entirely pleasant either, warm, almost burning sensation that is coursing through.
Sorry, Matilda's getting me.
Yep.
Happy to be a distraction.
Yeah, she's just gonna pocket that feeling.
You pocket that feeling, and you feel like that there's language there somewhere. It's on the cusp of it. But it's just inaccessible.
Okay. Oh. All right. Yeah.
And as you
yum.
look, there's a dead body. No, that's not a dead body. That's just Nosh.
Oh my god. Yeah, Nosh is putting Harlow in a mood. Not a good,
Certainly.
not a good one. Not like that, Matilda.
I don't know. There was a lot of clicking going on.
Outside, Catriona, you have been, posted up on your statue's guard here. What, if anything, has Catriona been doing, thinking?
She's trying to figure out whether it's worth it to go to the conservatory or not. I think she's also probably ruminating on, like, the back in Midhaven, that hint she was given that the Demarchy is not necessarily what she thought it would have been. And like having figured out, potentially what Ewing and the others were after, would like finding Quinn's mentor and all of that. I don't know, I think she thinks there's some tenuous connection between them and a conservatory, and she's not sure if the Demarchy is necessarily working for sort of that, good of the many ideologies she had been taught post-war.
Certainly. And in thinking about Midhaven, you heard a lot of people were issued orders. They followed those orders, which is not something that would be strange to you, Catriona, as someone who would have been following orders, but also issuing them as well to others. You haven't talked much with the others about your time in the war, but as Catriona, if her mind wandered to those years, what would she feel in thinking back on her time serving?
She would certainly recognize the danger of just following orders after the war. She would be worried that people were being tricked into committing actions that were not great, just because they were told that was the objective, but they didn't have all the information, maybe, or not necessarily. You can't necessarily trust the higher ups all the time. Is sort of what she's adopted.
Certainly,
because she's fallen victim to that before.
but best not to think about that, right? Lest you spiral.
She probably starts to flash back to some things, and you just catch it. If someone were to look outside, she's just laid herself flat on the ground and is staring up at the stars, fully statue mode.
And Catriona, you now have a hammer, a cloak, a stone, these remnants of your former commander. You saw what became of the commander themselves in Lieutenant Ewing's just total destruction and disintegration. But like Ephigeans, stone endures, and the pieces of her remain. The hammer you've figured out. You know its function, its feature. The stone, thanks to Quinn, you have some idea of what it is. The cloak feels heavy, but feels, I don't know. How would Catriona feel about having the cloak of her former ally and mentor?
I think the Ephigeans as a whole have sort of a it's gonna sound weird, a pro recycling mentality of ashes to ashes, dust to dust. If you die, it's not necessarily your body anymore. You just go back to being stone. So it's not as much of a sentimental attachment as a practicality, but
fair. And so back inside, Quinn, you've been rooted for as long as needed, and then however much after that you so choose. Mosswing has just been flitting about, her tail rather, as she's perched up on a shelf. Quinn, you spent some time studying your book prior to your rest. Anything else for you before we begin our day?
I think his primary concern is still Nosh. So he's still watching over Nosh. He's maybe spending a little extra time in the chronology book looking for any hints of what might be able to help Nosh. Thinking back to any previous studies, any historical references to petrification. That is actually something that's used in some ways as a punishment in the Teoran society, but never a known case of a Namasi actually becoming petrified in that way. And as far as Quinn knows, there's no way to reverse it, at least for Teorans that go through that process.
Yeah, roll one more Arcana check, as now you're kind of expanding the scope of what you're looking for here. That was
What is
Moss.
Moss? Give me a second.
Well, what's your modifier? We'll keep the 17 roll. I mean, it's going to be high.
It's like 9. It's
Okay, so,
ridiculously high.
10.
It's actually
So
10 now. 10 now.
a 27. That's not very good. So as you're perusing, you do come across a bit of text. It takes you some time to work out the meaning because it's not written, left to right linearly. It's the text in this, when there is text, is cryptic and a puzzle of its own. But you are pretty confident that as you trace through the schematic that you seem to have worked out, that is it a poem? Is it a mantra? It's just a little bit of a couple lines of text. It's a question. If your minds could drift backward or forward like ash on the wind, would you carry what you know, or leave it buried lest it burn you twice?
Nice. So I transcribed that into a notebook just on the side so that I really have an opportunity to go back and ponder that. But interesting, little cryptic, intriguing. I think I'm, from the standpoint of what I'm reading, it's not something that is I'm fearful of. I think it's more the puzzler's mind that Quinn has is intrigued by it.
Quinn, do you not feel that with us lies some blame? For without us, Nosh would not be on this train, this track of pursuing what we seek? Or am I missing something?
I mean, I certainly encouraged Nosh to come with us, but he was more than willing. He's got his own reasons for wanting to leave our homeworld, our homeland. I can't take credit for the petrification, but we're all in danger here. The other party members nearly died. Nosh at least seems to still be alive, and there's still some hope.
Is it something worth it in the end? If you might not lose only friend, but self and all? Each will fall? Perhaps, I don't know. But with you I will go.
And as always, the pleasure of your company is all mine.
Quinn, as you do think back on your studies and this little cryptic whatever you found in your spell book, your mind does wander to when you first met Moss, because when you first met Moss, there was a choice. As you recall, your time at the Glimmering Hall, the school where you studied magic, was very structured, very regimented. There was your days were planned out for you very consistently, and very rarely did you have an opportunity to pursue your own interests outside of that limited free time you had when you weren't studying what was assigned to you. But on one of those rare occasions, there was a day off where there were offerings of electives, just single day courses to learn something new. And you were provided with several choices: apparitions, echoes, and soul marks, runic infusion and glyph binding, natural remedies to unnatural maladies, and the choice you ultimately picked: conjure and covenants, ethical summoning. But perhaps if you hadn't chosen that day, if you had gone for natural remedies to unnatural maladies, sure, you may have never met Moss, but perhaps you would have some sort of direction where to go here, or it could have changed the entire trajectory of your study, moving away from the arcane and the illusory and perhaps into the medicinal and the palliative. But that's not the path you chose, and instead you are here where you are. What was that like the first time you conjured Moss from wherever it is she comes?
The first time I made contact with the spirit that is Moss, Moss is not what we see, but it is what she is. She can be anything. She can, take different forms. But that first connection of the personality that is Moss was thrilling. It was a filling of a gap that of companionship that I think I never knew I really had until it was actually filled. And that immediacy of connection was it was energizing. It seemed rather natural for her to take the regular form of a tressum, largely because that's a creature I think that I've always admired and would try to chase through the woods, but they're quite elusive. So the thought of actually having a tressum as a companion was one that was really very appealing. But having Moss as a constant companion has meant the world to me through different ups and downs in my own life, because she's there always and constant. Even when she's not there, I know she can come back, and that's incredibly powerful.
And now she is the lone familiar, as I'm sure Nosh would have had similar ideas of Ra, but with Nosh in his states, Ra is wherever Ra goes, the essence of him when not here. All of you with your ponderings, your studies, your fidget spinning, you've had time to rest, to reflect, to learn some new things. So we have leveled up to the big one, level 5, and just for the people at home, let's do a quick rundown of what does your character get at this level? What choices have you made? What features have you added to your sheet? We can start with Catriona, since that's the shortest.
Yep, definitely the easiest choice. So she gets extra attack now.
God bless.
Finally, she gets a little bit more health. Her endurance die get a little bit stronger, and she has a little bit better relationship with her lichen now. So she can has like a wider radius on her interdiction, and it gives her a little bit extra boost there. She can see through the lichen now up to 10 feet with blind sight.
Excellent. That hopefully will come in handy at some point. I'm sure it will. You'll make it come in handy.
I think you will.
I'll try. What about for Quinn?
So level 5 is a big deal for casters, right? We now get access to level 3 spells. That is a major milestone for most casters. In Quinn's case, he gets 2 additional spell slots at level 3. He gets to choose 3 spells to learn from among the wizard class, 2 that can be of any class, any subclass, and then 1 additional illusion spell, since that is his chosen vocation. He has picked Fireball, no big surprise. Leomund's Tiny Hut, and if you're not familiar with that spell, it basically creates a semi, like a hemisphere of safety that can encompass 9 people, that doesn't allow for anyone to see in, hear in, creates an environment that is effectively safe for the party for up to 8 hours. So a long rest can really be taken in a safe way, regardless of where you are. Spells, it used to be that no spells could be cast through it, but now with the updated rules, it's just spells less than level 3 cannot, or 3 and less, I believe, cannot be cast through the barrier. So that'll be a nice way for us to make sure we stay safe while we're on the road. And then as a class feature, he gets Memorize Spell, which means that on short rest, he can replace one level 1 spell in his prepared spells. So a little bit of flexibility there on short rests. And then finally, as a Teorin, he also gets a Teorin trait, and he's chosen Rooted. And what Rooted allows him to do is, as a reaction to anything that would make him prone, or is it restrain as well, or tries to move him, like a push, a shove. Essentially, he can root himself, prevent those effects, and also gain a 10-foot radius tremor sense at the same time. He remains rooted until he uses an action to unroot himself to be able to move at that point. So lots of fun new features for Quinn. Big milestone level at level 5.
Yeah, should be fun. And what about you then, Snash? What does Harlow add into her sheet?
Just gets a channel divinity, a seer undead, which is just like a little extra damage to undead when she uses turn undead, and level 3 spells.
Can't complain about those. Got some good choices made, which I imagine we'll see them if they come up, since clerics changing their prepared spells all the time. Okay, well, cool. So, you've all had your chance to rest. Now we know where you stand, level up wise. The sun has risen. The day is before you. What's the plan, gang?
Catriona is just like waiting outside the house. Whatever the hammer equivalent of like sharpening a blade would be. I guess polishing the hammer.
That sounds like a euphemism.
Yeah.
Not near as much of a euphemism as flicking the soul.
Flicking the soul.
Are you going to retrieve Nosh?
Oh, I think she's probably waiting out here for you guys to be awake and decide it's time to leave.
So it still looks like nighttime on my screen.
Oh, sorry, I gotta
if you have to
adjust
do
the...
anything.
There we go. That beautiful sunrise.
Top tier animation there.
It works. Is Harlow still flicking her soul?
Sorry, I'm changing my veil and stuff.
Oh, yeah, no worries. Oh, yeah, and importantly, you as your proficiency bonus went up, you can now add an additional soul.
Did my proficiency bonus go up?
Yeah. Now we are at +3.
Cool beans. All right, someone die real quick.
No, thank you.
Actually, can I yoink Nosh's soul real quick?
Preserve
Nosh's
it until
dead.
Nosh is back.
Is everybody else outside right now?
Everybody but Nosh, she's still in bed, right?
Cool, perfect. All right,
No,
I'm
if you're
going
all
to.
awake, I'll go get you, Nosh.
What's that, Snash?
Just knock Nosh over. Shatter.
Sorry, Ruby.
Oof.
Sorry, I'm hungry. I need some breakfast.
Surely there's a dead mouse around here somewhere.
There's going to be.
Well, I'll go.
Oh, God.
I'll go take the Ewing's cloak off of him and pick up Nosh to bring him outside with us.
Are you gonna papoose Nosh?
I
Nosh the new
might.
dabble?
That's gonna be. What are we gonna do with him, guys? Just a question.
I think for the time
Sling
being,
him.
we have to just carry him with us and see if we can find some way to bring him back.
Can I do like a medicine check on Nosh?
Yeah.
Can you tell like how fragile Nosh is in this statue state?
Guide myself. Guide myself.
Guide myself. Yeah. So I guess what is it you're trying to do?
I'm like trying to derive. I know that nothing I can do can fix Nosh, but I'm trying to derive exactly like what it is going to take.
Okay.
And if it's possible.
Yeah. So in your examination, you you do ascertain that Nosh is not like a brittle, fragile thing that's gonna shatter if you drop him or something like that. So he seems quite solid and quite sturdy here. As for what's is this specific affliction, it absolutely magical in nature, and as such, what you know of magic and what you've seen from Quinn, if something can be cast, it can be undone, it can be dispelled. So you get a strong sense that there's got to be something that someone could do to lift this from Nosh. It's just a matter of finding the knowledge and someone that can guide you along that path. Maybe it is something that you could even do yourself if you knew what to do.
If I wait 4 more levels.
Well, Quinn, you wanted to go to the magic school. Maybe they can fix him.
I think that's our best chance of at least being able to research what caused this and how we can undo it.
Maybe we can find out why they were watching the Aether Deep as well.
Yeah, and what that had to do with Quinn Rattling, my mentor. Fen Rattling.
When you make all the names and it's still too complicated.
I
Are we gonna
Before we go, do we...
Ephron or Ephron?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm curious what might...
Ooh,
Where is that coming from?
I don't know.
Snash, is that you?
It's not me. Scott.
Scott.
Mute your mic.
Scott.
Just randomly my phone started playing music. How strange.
That's exciting.
Sorry about
What
that.
kind of phone do you have, Scott?
Apple iPhone.
Hey Siri. Keep playing that song.
That's right.
Oh goodness.
Order 1,000 penguins.
So do we want to go see if, all the mice are healing?
Yeah.
I think that would be good. It's going to be a surprise for his former fiance, isn't it?
As you look about the town, all of the other houses, the doors are closed. This is a farming community. Farmers wake up with the sun or earlier, but you don't see anybody about.
Maybe
Did they all leave?
they left, like we told them to.
Wonderful. All right.
Do we see like obvious tracks of the whole town leaving?
You do.
Yeah.
They seem to have discussed and taken you up on what you told them to do.
Amazing.
Hey, we own a town now. That's kind of cool.
Scott, you wanted a bastion.
That's right. Our bastion is a mouse town.
It's a mouse town.
It is an option.
Farmland.
You want it. Yeah, so you literally have this abandoned town all around you. No sign of the mouse folk currently being here. You see some like crops that were growing have been uprooted. Looks like they, took what they could with them. But
I don't think we're gonna get much by way of supplies. I think that's all probably gone.
Well, it might be worth spending a little bit of time just.
Oh, is there a
And
cart? Is there
canvassing.
like?
as you look around, there are some carts. There are no like beasts of burden to pull them. But yeah, like you've got an empty cart here that
We
someone
got a
could
beast
pull.
of burden.
Yeah.
Can we take the cart with us? Can I put Nosh into the cart? And
You
pull
absolutely
the cart?
can.
We got a muscle mommy.
Just push it like a wheelbarrow.
Yeah. Well, cat's so big that a mouse's cart probably is the size of a
Seriously.
wheelbarrow for her.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Perfectly.
Oh. All right, are we
Alright.
gonna head to the cave?
Let's go try and check on Ephraim, who's been abandoned by his society now.
Do you
If
want to
he's
do
alive?
that, and I'll see if I can gather some supplies from the houses? See if there's anything useful here.
You mean you're gonna loot the houses while we go check on
I'm
it?
gonna
Let's
bring
yeah.
everything out to the cart. If I can find some food, we don't have a cook anymore with us, so I think we're gonna need to figure out how we're eating along the way.
I mean, I think. Do any of us actually eat?
I eat. Yeah, I mean, I
Like you
could also
can eat, or you
I-
like need to eat?
I do. No, I need to be sustained either by food or by sunlight. So
Okay.
I got some rations.
I guess I always have good berries, but that I grew myself. I'm self-sustaining, actually.
Just a closed ecosystem.
That's right.
All right. Harlow, do you want to come with me to go find Ephraim while Quinn loots the town?
Let's split the party again.
Or we're
Hell
leaving
yeah.
Nosh with you.
Yeah, I'll just pile anything useful on top of the cart, not on top of Nosh. We'll just make sure she's nice and good. If I find
Just
some
a buried
blankets,
fox statue
things
underneath a
like
bunch of other shit. All right.
does she look like a statue now, or does she look like a fox that's more like taxidermied?
Oh no, I mean definitely more statuesque in that it's like it got that like the sort of petrified wood coloration. So very, very clearly not like just a dead or taxidermied fox person.
Okay, so she could be mistaken as an effigian.
Certainly, or literally just a sculpture.
A statue. Okay.
Yeah. And now, important to note, at least as far as Quinn has encountered, all effigians that you've seen have not. None of them have been bestial or look like Namasi.
That holds true for as far as Catriana's encountered too.
Yes,
Yeah,
but
because they're all pre-flood.
Mhm.
But we've never seen a living effigian statue of a horse, anything like that. A beast that would've
you
existed?
haven't, though. Catriona might have seen something akin to that in her
Like
her
a statue
past.
that was mounted.
Yeah, something like along those lines, but that would have been quite rare and not something that like the majority of non-effigians would have, or really many non-effigians would have seen or known about.
Sounds good.
All right, let's go check on Cave Boy.
No difficulty finding this location, as now you've been here several times. You approach the cave. Roll some perception checks.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
Guidance.
Guidance. Solid perceiving between the two of you. You are looking about listening carefully, and you notice that there is just a stillness in this area. You don't see like obvious signs of like a disturbance or like someone having either come or gone since you were here last. The tracks that you see are your own.
So if he's alive, he's still in cave. Okay. Well, I'm gonna go look in the cave.
Okay. Catriona. Oh. Sorry about that. Distracted by a note. You are continuing deeper into the cave. You look in the space where you are. Hold on 1 second. Something's going on with my headset.
So much suspense.
Little technical difficulty there for the stream. Nick, can you hear us? Well, we can't hear you. We hear nothing.
It was working so well.
We cannot hear you, Nick.
What happened in the 30 seconds?
Do you know ASL by any chance?
A little bit.
Maybe we should take a break real quick.
Yeah, this would be a good time for a break.
All right.
All right.
Break time stream.
We will be back.
Bye.